What's going on there, folks? Good evening. It's your Earthmaster here on this beautiful Sunday night, July 17th, 2022 date. It's about 8:08, or actually 8 p.m. Where did I see the second 8 at? Not for sure. I'm with my co-host, beautiful co-host, by the way, Missy Mimis. What's going on, Missy?
How's it going, guys?
We are just hanging out here, watching some earthquake activity and getting a barbecue going here tonight, enjoying this beautiful Sunday evening. It's still currently about 104 degrees outside. It topped off at 108 here in Northern California, so a pretty massive heat dome over this area of the North American plate here. All right, guys, what do we got going on for earthquake activity? Latest quake shows a 1.9 earthquake into the area of Alaska, but that is not our main topic right now. Our main topic is activity around the Lōihi seamount off the coast of the big island of Hawaii. They're having quite a bit of swarm and tremor activity, volcanic movement going on here, magma movement going on below the surface here of the Lōihi seamount. There was a most recent notification put out here from the USGS. This is official notification, a hazard notification system for volcanoes for the Lōihi seamount. Would you care to pronounce this real quick? Okay, we'll move on. Increased seismic activity beneath the Lōihi seamount. We'll go ahead and cover that. South of the island of Hawaii began at approximately 2 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time on July 16th. This was yesterday. The U.S. Geological Survey detected seismic tremor marked by pulses of seismic energy every 15 to seconds. Now, whenever we see pulses...
Every 15 to 20 seconds.
What'd I say?
15 to seconds.
15 to 20 seconds. 15 to seconds?
It's hot. We'll blame it on the heat.
The heat stroke. I'm having it, hopefully not a heat stroke.
No.
So 15 to 20 seconds here, which is still ongoing at the time of this release, which was, again, noted on, when was this? Sunday at 2:53. So this was actually earlier today. This info was released here. Approximately 24 hours after this activity began, 24 1.8 to 3.0 earthquakes occurred from this time frame. According to the HVO scientist in charge, who's that? Ken Han? Ken Han. Sounds like the Mortal Kombat type series there.
Right.
This seismic activity is likely the result of magma movement here, folks. Magma, of course, it is a major area for volcanic activity beneath the Lōihi seamount and currently shows no signs of leading to an eruption, but this is a pretty big deal, considering that the USGS put out this notification here for the Lōihi seamount. If the swarm intensifies or changes significantly, the HVO will issue an additional notice. So they're claiming that because of the depth of the volcano within the ocean, would pose no threat to the island of Hawaii. But who knows how large of an eruption this could be underneath the ocean. I know any type of volcanic activity underneath the ocean could lead to tsunamis and whatnot, right?
Yeah. So I do want to give that pronunciation a try.
Which one is that?
On the Kama Ehua Kanaloa.
Say that again.
So Kama Ehua Kanaloa.
All right, that sounds pretty awesome. Here, take over, Missy Mimis. I'm retiring. That's it. I quit.
No, you can't quit.
I quit.
It's the Earthmaster. It's not the Missy Master.
Well, Earthmaster could be if or it doesn't have to be if me or you. I mean, it's a title.
And you're it.
All right, so she did a pretty good job at announcing that. By the way, the last time this submarine volcano erupted was back in 1996, folks, February to August. So there's been a little bit of time frame. It looks as though, okay, where was I reading this at?
You were on.
They were forming. This volcano began to form about 400,000 years ago. It's under the water. It is expected to begin emerging above sea level about 10,000 to 100,000 years from now. So, me, you, godparents, grandparents, grandparents, grandkids. I'm going the opposite direction here. I should be going the other way. Grandkids, great-grandkids, not going to see it at all.
That's a lot of generations.
But the only thing that concerns me is the possibility of an underwater volcanic eruption is how large is it going to be?
Tsunami,
right?
A lot of
it sits off the coast of Pahala here, the big island, by about 10 miles or so. So what kind of volcanic eruption are we talking about here? Is this just very minimal? Is this just like ooze?
There's no way of really knowing.
We don't really know. So the threat level is high here with the Lōihi seamount, and that's something to watch pretty closely here, folks, with this ongoing movement. These guys stating here, the USGS stating potential damage, no damage to buildings or infrastructure expected based on earthquake intensity. It's there. I don't know. I don't know if they're downplaying it or what, but you never know what the possibility is of a volcanic eruption here and the consequences from that underneath the ocean. Who knows? You never know. So it's kind of a big deal. We got a pretty good swarm of activity here. 16 earthquakes in this area down there at about, it looks about 6 to 8. Some of them 16 kilometers below surface here around the southern end of the Lōihi seamount, which is very typical of magma movement, and that is noted here on the Hawaiian volcano informational statement here. So kind of a big deal, right?
Yeah.
All this activity taking place following quite a bit of activity here along the eastern Pacific rise, a bunch of movement up through the western portion here, or eastern portion of the Pacific plate. A lot can go on, folks. I mean, we're just we look at historical data and try to decide, well, what's going to happen next. We don't really know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know every single incident that has happened with volcanic eruption activity underneath the ocean. So something to watch pretty closely.
That's what I was looking for.
I'll check that out a little bit later.
We'll check it out later.
So let's check out well, that one's not working here. I want to check out a couple volcanic seismograph stations here. And it still has been pretty active, of course, around the Pahala area of the southeastern portion of the Big Island of Hawaii. That activity is very normal and typical here around this area. The swarming activity has been continuing for I don't know how many decades, since about the early 60s. This has been an ongoing event. If you want to pull up earthquakes over the last 30 days, we'll show you guys a bunch of earthquakes here. How's 543 sound? That's a lot.
That is a lot.
This is very typical here of this area. Not 100% certain as to why this activity is occurring, but it always occurs roughly around 20 to 35 kilometers below the surface here. I think a lot of people, seismologists and whatnot, agree that it has something to do with the pulling here, the hotspot region over the Pacific plate. But it has been ongoing since about the 60s or so. Don't believe me? Go check it out. The Pahala earthquake swarm. It's definitely been an ongoing event for quite some time. This, not so much. So, got to watch this pretty closely around the Lōihi seamount, as that is a threat, I believe, to the Hawaii area. So what do we got for earthquake activity here? We did have some further movement around the eastern Pacific rise, the Easter Island area, seen a 5.6 at 10 kilometers. Nothing going on here along the South America region. Looks pretty quiet. Activity along the west coast has been active. Southern California did see some further activity, including a 3.5 near the Salton City area of California. This is just west of the San Andreas Fault. Of course, all this activity comes after a couple days of very active movement here in the southern portion of the state. Nothing going on along the southern segment of the San Andreas Fault for now. This will change pretty dramatically. I think one of these days you'll see a big circle here in the red, indicating a massive earthquake striking in this area. It's just a matter of time. And I think seismic activity increasing and the pressure in this region kind of pointing to that. So we'll keep definitely a close eye on it. North of the Garlock Fault Zone, around the Lake Isabella area, actually south of the Lake Isabella area, seen a swarm of movement today near the bodfish.
Bodfish.
Is it bodfish or bodefish?
Bodfish. Bode would have an E in it.
Oh, you're right. Bod. Good job. Good job, Missy Mimis. All right, 3.5.
Aren't you just happy I'm here today?
Right? I'm happy you're here every day, every second. So,
oh, yes.
Right? 3.5 and a 3.8 earlier today. That's a pretty good uptick in movement along this area, the southern end of the Sierra Nevada mountains. Activity stretching up through the eastern side. Pretty active today, including movement around Eureka, Nevada. Shown quite a bit of activity. All this pointing towards regional seismic activity increase as a whole. A couple days ago, we seen this area light up pretty much from Southern Cal up to the Vancouver area, all the way up to the pretty much the Rocky Mountains, where we expect seismic activity to kind of decline. It was pretty active here, so regionally it's kicking up quite nicely. South of Anchorage, a little bit of activity here within the last hour near the what is that, Chenega?
I believe so.
Chenega or Chenega? Chenega, Alaska. Correct us. Slaughter us. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that one.
I think Chenega. Or maybe Chenega. I don't know. Either way, 1.9 earthquake in that area within the last hour. Popping up there in Alaska. A little bit of activity stretching up from about the Cook Inlet area. You can see this movement up here through the Cook Inlet up into the Denali area. This is a very strong area for some deep earthquake activity. I mean, you got the Pacific Plate here to the south, North American Plate up here to the north. Earthquake activity and slip rate very high here within this region. The Aleutian Trench, though, is very quiet.
So is our watch area.
Along the Kuril-Kamchatka Trench, very quiet in that area. The majority of this movement here around the Indonesia, Papua New Guinea area is pretty old. We do have one earthquake here, 4.5. In the, what is it, Madang? Madang?
Papua New Guinea.
All right, 187 kilometer deep, 4.5. That's about the latest earthquake here, but it's been relatively quiet here. Some of this movement here is much, much older. So looking at activity pretty much diminishing up there, aside from that newest earthquake. Got a 2.9 from the USGS here.
That's shocking.
It is shocking.
Most of the time they don't even report 4s.
It's a little odd for the 2.9 here from the USGS, but hey.
We'll take it.
Definitely, right? They need to report activity, and this is near the Cromwell area of New Zealand at 2.9 at 10 kilometers. Not a big earthquake, but hey, at least they're reporting that. Some further older activity here around the Middle East and the Mediterranean. Also down south here into the Orkney area of South Africa, it looks like.
Yep.
4.8. That's actually somewhat of a larger earthquake for that area. That one occurring much, much earlier today, though, earlier this morning time frame. We are getting some back building here along the South Sandwich Trench, showing some activity, including a more recent activity, a 4.8 earthquake. This one earlier this afternoon at about 10 kilometers there. Let's see what we got for Yellowstone. I do got to watch my barbecue outside. Nothing, absolutely nothing going on here, folks, around the Yellowstone area. This is, we got, okay, maybe one earthquake here, a little bitty small microquake. But aside from that, there's no magma movement, no ongoing intrusion of doom and gloom. Everything looks calm and peaceful, right? That's what we want. That's what it shows. And that's the facts going on here at Yellowstone National Park, whether folks want to believe that or not. Earthquakes Canada map. We'll go ahead and check these guys out here real quick. Not a whole lot going on throughout the North American part of, or the northern part here of the region. One earthquake. Let's see if I can get that to pop up. From the 15th. Woo!
So that's
A couple days ago, 1.8. So sometimes these guys here, though, don't report over the weekend. And maybe they're like the USGS, you know, just kicking back, enjoying that easy money. Let's see what else we got here. Tremor map tonight along the Cascadia.
Ooh.
Pretty 174 epicenters of tremor
mostly
around
up
the
there.
mostly up here. A little confined activity around the Victoria area, Vancouver Island ranges. Some movement into Oregon and Northern California, but that's somewhat of a good uptick. 174 epicenters. So that's always a spot to watch, considering it's been well over 300 years since we've had a full rupture here along the Cascadia. This tremor activity, I believe, strongly intensifies the pressure that we're seeing and an increase in the likelihood of a Cascadia earthquake.
We'll definitely watch that carefully as well. See what's going on in the
solar department.
Ooh.
Well, a little heightened activity. It looks like around the July 20th time frame. Although that's not that big of a deal. I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to some G2 or G3 storming.
Right.
I'm not interested in G0. Really. We do have some coronal hole activity facing us. Will be facing us here in the coming days. That's a pretty significant coronal hole, which will produce some solar wind stream. Wind speed will be amplified here in the coming nights from these two coronal holes. Sunspot activity, there is some, obviously not a whole lot of dynamics and mixing here. Maybe 3058. These look pretty well separated, similar to a divorce, I guess.
There's
the wall. They're done. But yeah, I think 3058 has pretty much the most likelihood of producing any type of flaring. These guys have not really updated their info, but we definitely got to watch a couple of these newer sunspots that are developing, and this only excitement right now, the coronal holes that will be facing us, pouring out some solar wind stream here pretty soon. So no major solar flares going on, folks. A couple days ago we had the solar filament that blasted off from the sun, but that's very typical, not the end of the world type scenario. These things happen all the time. A couple of YouTube channels pulling the fear porn type events, but that activity occurs quite often, believe it or not, and that was definitely directed away from the earth. All right, guys, let's see what else we got. Again, a big shout out to the winners. A couple of you folks have notified us through the email. I got a couple of you guys, the winners, and we'll respond to you here pretty soon and pass more info to you guys. But if you haven't watched the 75,000 subscriber drawing, we held it here a couple hours ago. Make sure you check it and see if you guys have won or not. If you have won, we mentioned your name, 6 people, one of the 6 people I should say. Give us an email at earthmastermail@gmail.com. If we don't hear from you in a couple days, we'll send you a reply on your comment, which is your entry comment onto the 75,000 subscriber entry video, and then we'll go from there. So
and email us from your Gmail so that we know it's you.
Yep, give us a Gmail reply to the earthmastermail@gmail.com, and we'll definitely go from there. So we'll definitely get a hold of you. If you guys, if you don't happen to watch the video, we'll get a hold of you guys somehow.
Either way, yeah.
Either way, definitely, and then we'll go from there. So. All right, guys, have a good night. I'm going to go check out my tri-tip beef jerky. Hopefully it's not beef jerky yet. But, yeah, we do have a tri-tip going on here. Again, I have to announce that for the members here, the channel members, we are doing monthly drawings. That's one of the perks, one of the benefits of becoming a channel member here on this channel. Of course, we do drawings every so often at different levels, 75,000, 100,000 subscribers, and so on. But with the members, we are doing monthly drawings, and this month we are giving away a $50 gas card or $50 gift certificate somewhere, whether it's Amazon, Walmart. It depends on what you want, and we'll give you that option. But it's going to be $50 regardless, and those are for the channel members that join this channel. So if you guys want to join, there's a lot of perks.
Yeah.
You guys get some behind the scenes stuff. You get some background videos, extra icons and emojis. And this is all pretty much in the process of a new stage. I only kicked this up here within the last month or so. So we're going through a lot of stuff to get everything going. So we're kind of in the development stage, so to speak.
Yeah.
But we will be... we'll definitely be increasing prizes and videos and whatnot for those members only. So check it out if you guys want to. There's no commitment. If you want to do a month and then cancel, you're more than welcome to. But either way, everyone that is a channel member will be entered into a drawing every single month to win some prizes.
You'll have a chance to win.
So this month, as I mentioned, $50 via gift card, via gas card, via something, Amazon gift certificate, whatever. And then next month we'll do something different, and we'll go from there. Next month might be some free merchandise. We'll have to see how it goes. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna bounce out of here. Have a good night. What are we working on? 21 minutes. That's not too bad. We kept it underneath 30 minutes or so.
All right.
Have a good night, folks. We'll catch you a little bit later on.
Peace out, guys.